like, not that you guys absolutely have to do this, but for an example, you call me up and you say, hey, you got any VFW guys that could work our concession stand so you guys can do your parking or whatever you need to do. Me and Paul Godey, we used to work with Mary Dugas, and we put the VFW food wagon right out there, and the three of us would work it, and that left the rest of the chamber to do parking or fireworks or whatever that they were doing. You know, and it was a lot of fun.
Wonderful.
You know, and it was a team effort, you know. There was absolutely no reason that, you know, that you can't find enough people. And sometimes it might take 2 or 3 organizations to have enough people to do
It helps if
something.
you're specific. If you say we need somebody to work concession, or we
Right.
need somebody to
Right.
man such and such booth from
The
this time to
first
this
home
time
run
of the
that I can
day.
say that I,
Because people can look at their schedule and
X
go, I can
hours, or, yes.
Yeah, if you're specific about it, it makes it a lot easier to know, okay, I got this weekend, but I need to do that.
Volunteer registry.
yeah,
Set it up, no.
I volunteer to volunteer. Okay. I have a little construction business going, I'm trying to retire. I am retiring. But I have a lot of people that would be willing to volunteer.
without a doubt. We
One
want,
of you people.
you know, one of the first home runs I can say that I see around here and anything that I worked on was Thanksgiving. We hosted Thanksgiving at the VFW, and it was supposed to be a thank you to the community, because without their input to our fundraising efforts, we wouldn't be here. So it wasn't supposed to be a make money thing, it was supposed to be this is a thank you, come eat with us. And when I went out in the community, I went individually to businesses or people, and just to put up a flyer or advertise, or, you know, or I needed something specific, like the Baklava shop, I was gonna go buy pies, you know, and buy pies. I mean, it wasn't something I asked them to give me. And the support that was starting to swirl, it was crazy. We ended up, we fed 113 people. There was 5 organizations that was represented in that one event, between the Tourism Council, Youth Council, the VFW, American Legion, and we had what we call our at-large group. You know, just people that are always running and volunteering. The building was packed, there was no negativity, no nastiness, nothing bad during that meal. And we had 20 people all working together to serve, cook, do dishes, whatever it was that had to be done. And after that, we gained a little momentum, so we did Christmas. And again, I mean, we got another home run out of it. Gained a little more momentum, and we did the Easter party. You know, and recently, I can feel that momentum has slowed down, dropped off, and it's gonna hurt to not see what we had before.
It's gonna hurt children.
It's not gonna be something that I'm giving up on. You know, I don't care if I gotta go down there and cook turkey TV dinners by myself, it's just gonna have to happen. But before we lose something we've gained, or before we give up on an idea we've never tried, this is it. I encourage you guys, please,
Do you
please.
have a date for this potluck?
Well, we got everybody here, give me an idea.
Some people.
Well,
We'll go from there.
we got enough here.
It'd have to be September, because.
Why don't you set up a committee, Rick?
What's that?
Set up a committee.
Fall would be pretty good.
That's not a bad idea.
After Outfest.
That's not a bad idea.
That would put us into, what, October is an Outfest
Do you think
event?
that people are busy at Outfest? We're gonna be busy
Between
between
now and now, that's just gonna be.
Yeah.
September.
And keep in mind, if it ends up being October, November, it doesn't have to be here, it can be at the VFW, because there's a building.
Certainly could.
Well, I don't know if I want some of you in.
Yeah, but this is a community
Well,
park.
it's gonna be a.
I'm just joking.
It's gonna be a costume,
I
so
was
you
just,
won't know.
I was just joking.
How about September 14th?
Give me 3 volunteers. We'll make a committee out of those 3 volunteers, and they can work on this.
I nominate you.
I would really appreciate it if nobody actually seconds that, because
I just.
I have a lot of stuff to work on.
I'll help, I'll do. Don't Paul.
Mr. Dunn, I need one more.
Throw it at me.
Larry?
I'll do it.
Okay, so Larry,
I'm the
Pat,
assistant, Jeff.
and Mr. Dunn here, they will come and talk to somebody here, call me, I can call everybody else, not a problem, but they'll work out a date, location, and some of the details, and I will get back to everybody on that. But I think this potluck thing, this could be the start of a really good way to move forward, and we'll find some cooperation. Thank you guys very much for coming. Yeah.
As
Let's not end this yet.
Okay.
Unless we want to end it.
No.
I've got a question, actually.
Sure.
You just talked about the youth council. I don't know what the youth council is, but one of the things that I'm hearing that concerns me is, and we don't have any youth in the church, I get, well, other than your daughter, thank you. But I'm hearing a concern that on the weekends, on Friday night, Saturday night, there's not anything for the middle schoolers or high schoolers to do in town.
Yep.
And that they're driving to Gaylord or driving to Atlanta, which means.
'Cause there's nothing to keep them here.
They're driving home late at night.
Yep. You know, when I was a teenager, right here in this pavilion, they used to host teen dances.
And moving it.
And, yeah, and movie nights.
Yeah.
And even in the wintertime, you know, because the doors, they leave them, you know, open about that far. And it wasn't really cold with that many bodies in here, but, you know, we'd have teen dances in here, and it wasn't anything nasty or disgusting, or, you know, they were chaperoned, and it was healthy. You know, and that's the kind of stuff we gotta start looking at again. I mean, that's old ideas, but at the same time, that stuff could come back.
It's an important, it seems to me, and I'm new, but it seems to me that that is a really important idea, that this idea that there's something that they can do
Yeah.
here that they don't have to go somewhere else to do.
I agree. You know, at least as far as the veteran community is concerned, we've been talking about that, you know, and we're gonna host some Halloween family dances, costume dances, that kind of thing. We're still gonna do whatever we can as far as the kid stuff goes, you know. Might have to call some of you guys for some help, you know, you never know. I hope it's there if we're entitled to it. Yeah.
They used to have the lake over here frozen, you know, and they used to clean it for ice skates, we used to rent out ice skates, you know.
Not that many people there would, they had it right here, and the kids are just at home on cell phones and doing games. They had it right here, and hardly anybody came, hardly anybody, so.
Can I ask a question about what the kids do, like after football games, basketball games, do they have a hangout spot?
Well, it used to be like JD's
JD's
Pizza.
Pizza.
It's not there anymore.
Right.
Maybe we can collectively
Do a
offer
pizza
them
night or
something.
something.
Well, collectively offer them something. You know, they can all come down to the VFW, and one week it could be the chamber that provides some pizzas, or, you know, the next time it's the VFW doing Bronson hot dogs or whatever.
We've tried the team dances here for Elkfest,
And nothing?
they're not attended, no, they're. that's
Most
not-
kids,
that's not
most
different
kids are
stuff
sitting
than-
at home
that's
on
not-
their cell
Yeah.
phones. and
And see,
they're
that-
not coming to stuff.
That's the whole thing. That's where some of the old ideas that used to happen was pre-cell phone. You know, so you gotta kind of adapt and overcome in a lot of things too.
So,
Back in the day,
like, so are we saying that because the kids are at home on their cell phones and stuff, that that's enough, or are we saying we still need to do?
No, we still need to do something. And I mean, I'd like
We
to
need to
work
figure
with
out what the kids will participate.
That's okay, I'm just trying to get an idea of what
I-
we're saying. Yeah.
I'd be interested
They
in.
just, most of them, even when I was in the youth organization and
Yeah.
stuff, there's too many kids sitting at home on cell phones and doing video games. It's hard to pull them away.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in working with you on finding something that we, you know, that we could get going. Well, and that might be the whole thing, you know? I could have my daughter, because she's glued to her cell phone, do a Facebook poll with all of her friends that are right around the same age group. Jay's got a daughter that's that
did you
age
get the
group.
schools to hand out something at school? And-
Well, and find something that they might be
I
interested
don't
in.
know.
And go from there, so-
Friday folder, if you
Yeah.
want something, you
Yeah.
can just go in and
Put it in,
put it
right?
in the Friday folder.
Did you invite any business people here?
You?
Yes.
Chamber?
Well, yes and no. I guess I never looked at it from a business aspect. I looked at it from people that I personally seen in the community doing something. So if I missed a group, I do apologize. But, you know, you do have some businesses represented here.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be some more businesses represented.
What I think I'm saying is this. To be a town, to be a community, working together is what you have to do. There's no question you're on the right track. I think that if you get the business people involved with a group, you get business people involved with the schools, you get the school involved with the business people, with the group down here and other organizations, then you're starting to pull the town back together.
Yeah.
Right now, like you said, like Henry said, the problem that you got is that they sit at home on their cell phones. The only way they get that to stop is to get them somewhere where they're together, and there's adult influence outside of that.
Right.
So if you brought them down here and they had a contest on some kind of a video game that wasn't horrific, you know, kind of a thing, killing a lot of people and all that kind of stuff, and you set up a challenge. Set up a challenge, get them to come down and offer something to them so they can win something.
Right.
I don't care whether it's $20 or whatever it is. They can win something, they're gonna show up, and then you can talk to them about doing other things, on volunteering, about working downtown,
Yeah.
getting jobs, anything to move them out from those cell phones and get them back to the activity of the town. And if you reach out to them, I think that's the only way you're gonna get them involved.
Well,
Well, they also can earn their community service hours that are required now in high school.
yeah. Well,
By working with communities.
the committee that's gonna work on the pop-up thing, when you guys come up with your date, time, all of that stuff, you know, you guys get a flyer, give me the flyer and I'll personally take it to every business and invite them. I've done it with Thanksgiving and other things and the Legion lunches. I have no problem doing that, you know, and, that could be the start of getting something going here.
You're coming up with good ideas. The problem is you need, in all activity, what you need is a good organization, a strong organizational group. And you don't have that even now. You've got volunteers that'll help, but you don't have a strong organizational group that sets priorities of what you want within your community. If you don't have that, you'll never grow it. It's all going to come back.
I guess my
I'll
fear.
actually go back to our committees or organizations that we're involved in and talk to them and see.
Maybe you need a UN,
Okay.
A what?
a UN, a person from each group that sits
Yeah,
down together
and-
and prioritizes
What-
and.
What we did in the past that you
Of
might
course, I'm
want to
against
consider,
it, personally, there you go.
we had something that we did a few years back, about 1909 or 10, somewhere
Yeah.
around there. No, 2010. We put it together. It was down at the senior center. And what we had is a group down there that represented the township. We had the McCullough, we had the library people down there. We had everybody that had influence in town, that had organizations that they worked with. And the heads of those groups sat at the front of the room. And the people in the community showed up because they knew they were going to get answers to their questions. And it wasn't a bitch fest, because that's what everybody does. They want to complain when they get together. They were told right off the bat, that's not what this is about. This is about growing a community and putting it back together. We did this. And there were over 200, closer to 300 people showed up for that. And it was a very, very strong program. And, yeah, and that's what you do. You get everybody together. Not a few
Something
people.
good came from that.
Organizations are great, but you can be there and get involved with them, but you need to have a core.
Would you be interested in spearheading that?
Maybe so, yeah.
Good.
I mean, I'm doing that right now with EDC.
Well, right.
Exactly.
But I mean, if you have experience with it, that's what we need.
I do.
And if you need any help in, you know, kind of recruiting or headhunting for it, let me know.
Yeah, I was the director of training for the NI Corporation, so I guess.
I think that could be a really good idea, you know? I don't think, you know, myself personally, I look at, you know, like I said, I'm Briley Township, and regardless of what anybody wants to think about Briley Township, I have my thoughts, you have your thoughts, and that's fine. But there's things that are Briley problems, and there's things that are Atlanta problems, and believe it or not, they can be two different things. So having something like what you're talking about can separate that a little bit. And I think it'd be a great idea. If you get working on that, by all means, I'll be there for you.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I think it's
there's a lot of
great.
things involved here, guys. What we're looking at is not just that. I mean, we're looking at a lot more. We're looking at the school, we're looking at what gets taught out there, how it's being taught, what caliber of instructors we have out there, what they're teaching the kids. That part's really important. What I see out there is a lot of kids that are coming out of that school, unfortunately, and they don't have the education level to even graduate to the 8th grade. That's the problem that I see. We've seen people coming out of there recently that can't spell. I mean, easy words, very easy words, 4 letter words, English.
My daughter's history book only went back to 9/11.
And the problem with that is you can't get a job anywhere. You're not going to be able to do it. And like Kat, when we were talking the other day, and she mentioned they're not teaching cursive anymore in the schools. How are you gonna sign your name for a loan? How
I
are you gonna
agree
be
with
able to write
Declaration of
a
Independence.
real letter that's written in cursive? You can't.
They're not
You
teaching
can't not do
analog
these
clock
things.
anymore either.
Yeah, you can't not do these things. You're gonna have to set all that stuff up. We're gonna have to work with the school, with the superintendent out there, to possibly even get the schools together, combine them into one high school. That's something that's being looked at right now, which I think is a great idea. It's gonna develop a lot more school spirit, township spirit, through cooperation in the county, where we can all get together as one big county and have a lot of fun.
Well, hopefully,
Right now, it's a bunch of townships that fight each other.
hopefully there's a way to solve, you know, that this is all gonna work out in the wash. But the one thing that I'd be worried about, the example, and I won't name anybody, the example that's being set for our kids right now, as far as adults cooperating in the community, is disgusting. And I'm really happy, because my daughter this year finally stepped to the plate. She comes to the VFW and works, anything that I go and I want, and I'm gonna work on, she's actually getting involved. She started going to church, and,
You've got spies all around.
yeah, you know, and honestly, the people that I would say are in my team, you know, anywhere I go and work on something, they all watch over this kid, so she knows she can't get away with nothing, and she doesn't like it either. But, you know, I think if we give a better front here, you know, we can start getting a lot of these kids stuck to the plate. And, you know, like you're talking about education, I used to watch this political analyst all the time, and when they started the cursive thing, he said if you produce a generation that can't read and write cursive, you will produce a generation that will never know what their rights are.
I'll never be able to read the Constitution.
Yeah,
That's exactly-
you know, and the sad part is there's some truth in that. You know,
That's what they want.
They won't be able to
I
read
honestly
the
think that
documents.
there's a productive element here, and I'm really glad you guys came.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Happy wife,
Yeah,
happy wife.
the other thing I look at is spirit in the school. The school spirit is not there. How many people, football games, a lot of people show up for, right? But now we're down to an 8-9. Not anymore. They've lost it.
And none of them cheer.
Now, all right, so there's no school spirit right now. And we as adults know how important that is in your life because you had it and they don't. The only way I know to get it back is to get them involved again. Get them involved in having bonfires out there, pep rallies and stuff like that. Just build the school spirit. Have the buses ready. Get the principal over here to say, okay, we're going to take the bus or 2 buses, whatever it takes, and we're going to fill these people, this bus with a whole bunch of students to go to the ball game tonight. They're all going to have tickets and blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's the whole thing, though. I mean, when I went to high school here, I don't remember seeing all the dissension, and I'm sure it was still there. My parents did a pretty good job, I'm guessing, of shielding me from it. But unless we get the community straightened out, these kids they're not gonna have school spirit, they're not gonna.
Maybe they have more school spirit if it started with us going to the game.
Well, that's what I mean,
And actually cheering for the team.
Right, that's what I mean, though, I mean,
And
if-
where they can hear us cheering for them
Yeah.
and supporting them.
Is there a Worcester public school?
yeah, there is a sports booster, yeah, and also a band booster.
I'm raising my hand. Okay, we watched the news report this morning on a young man named Glenn Stern, 33 years old, no, 50-something now, whatever.
He's 67.
He's a dude, he's
Anyway.
a dude. He came from literally below zero to a millionaire, billionaire. I don't know. I just heard a story this morning. I want to research it. But one of the things I found so profound in what he said was he was on a path to nowhere. He said if your kids are hanging with basement people, that's what they're going to be. Whatever inspired him to start talking to the older generation of business people, just older vets, etc., and listening to what the struggle they had, and looked at it to save himself from that struggle and to move ahead, had saved his life, saved him to be what he is today. And I'm thinking, what can we do for our youth to
You'd be
create
surprised
that?
how much that can change somebody.
Yeah, I agree.
Oral McMurphy, before he passed away, was 97 years old. And he'd come to pancake breakfast at the VFW and he'd sit all by himself, so I'd go sit with him. One night we went to have a VFW meeting and we didn't have a quorum, so I'm not gonna have a meeting. But I'm not gonna go home right away because my kids were there. So I decided I was gonna have a beer, and Oral sat there and he just started talking. And I mean, think about it, 97 years, how much stuff he saw change. And he grew up right here. You know, he's the godfather of VFW. A lot of the county resources we had back in the day were because he brought them here. You know, he was director of DHS at one point and all kinds of stuff. The VFW building was part of a work camp that was out at Clear Lake. It was a leftover lumber camp that turned into a state work camp that he ended up somehow or another got moved over where it's at. And I mean, this guy just, like, he did everything, you know? And he's sitting there and he's talking about having to take the horse and wagon and go in the tree line by Dave Utz where he has his processing place for deer because the road was too thick with snow. And I'm thinking horse and wagon, yeah, I never had to be in a horse and wagon. We just put in four-wheel drive and you went, you know? But he talked about when he went to get married and all kinds of different stuff, and it's like, I definitely couldn't have survived his life, you know? And some of the stuff that I start remembering that you hear these guys say, and I'm still young. Every room I sit in, I'm the youngest guy in the room. It's going to be that way for a while. But I can't wait till I get to laugh at some punk kid that comes in with some dumb idea, because I'm going to know that we all walked that road to get where we were, and he's fixing to start. You know, same thing when I went to open my shop. Some, you know, mechanics that had 30, 40, 50 years in the biz. You know, I'm thinking I'm just going to open my shop and it's going to be great and it's going to be all rainbows and sunshine and someday I'll shit Skittles and, you know, and it really wasn't. I mean, it's been a fight for 7 years. And not because there isn't customer support or money being made or anything like that. But by the time you get done at the end of the day, you're tired, but you still have to drive. You got paperwork to do, or you have dinner to make, or you have something else going on. And that's why I say, you know, when I look around this room, I know for a fact I've seen every one of you have to do your normal every day and then go out and do what, you know, everything you could to keep everything else going. So that's, I mean, we got some momentum here, and I'm definitely very happy that everybody's open and willing to try something here. But I don't have anything else unless somebody else does.
I still. So with this group you're talking about that meet every month, it would be a monthly get together so everybody has a chance to come and talk and listen and hear?
We could do it monthly, or we could do it to get it started and fast track it. We could start doing it every week or every 2 weeks.
Okay, wonderful,
I
wonderful.
mean, it depends on what you really want to do and how fast you want to do it.
Well, it's got to be
We're getting ready
sooner
to go
than
back
later.
to school, so if you get something now that's going to be ready for them or close enough, by the time school starts, then we have a program that we might be able to get them involved.
Yeah, but I'm also talking about that other group that you're talking about with all the supervisors.
Yeah.
That's a, would be once a month or something.
Well, yeah, I think that's important. I'd like to see that.
And when you're talking about Atlanta and you're talking about the kids not writing cursive and all this stuff, is that just an Atlanta problem?
No.
Or
No,
that's
no,
everything?
that's a
That's just curriculum here. Because
Yes,
my kids
yes.
are growing, I don't see this.
No, that's a nationwide
There are
epidemic now.
So many problems with what they're allowed to teach in curriculum, and they're required to take tests.
Standardized testing,
Yes.
I'm aware of this, yeah.
And the teachers, I'm afraid, are forced to teach what's going to be on the test.
Yeah.
They can't say, hey, we're gonna go outside and look at such and such happening today, and I'm gonna teach you how trees work. They can't do
They're
that.
not getting
And
it.
the things that sucked you into education when you were a kid, the stuff that was interesting.
Yeah.
Everything is out of the, well, it's not even out of the book anymore. It's, what do you call it, computer,
Yeah,
everything's.
you walk into a
everything's
classroom and
computer.
there's 15 kids in there.